some part of that.
Yeah, it was all.
Okay, will I work again?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call this meeting to order at 5:22. Is there any public participation?
Okay. Ready to go?
All right. This time I'll open the floor for nominations for board president.
Make a motion for Todd. Second.
Motion by Jonathan, second by Keith. All in favor? 7-0.
Maybe 601. Did you vote, Todd?
Oh, that, yeah, you're right. 6-0-1. Switch spots.
Nope, she was ready on that.
I know. I shouldn't have.
Get a nomination for vice president.
Second.
Christie.
I did it wrong.
It's okay.
Forgive me.
It's okay.
We just. I don't make Chris.
I'll second.
It's all right.
A little king.
Christine, we're paying attention.
Your vote. 601. For secretary,
Nominate Heather.
I'll second.
Vote. 601.
Oh, I didn't vote. Yeah, yeah. That was not my hand.
Establish board meeting dates and times. It is recommended the board meet on
Traditionally the third Tuesday, unless you guys will do something different, we continue the third Tuesday.
of each month at the time 5:30.
5:30 for the public board meeting.
Okay. Have a motion.
Thank you.
Courtney? A vote. 7-0. Appointed corporation treasurer. It is recommended the board appoint Teresa Robbins as the corporation's treasurer. Have a motion. Barry?
Second.
Jonathan? A vote. 7-0. Appointment of executive secretary. It is recommended that the board appoint Chelsea Atchison as the executive secretary. Courtney?
Second.
Second. Kevin? Vote. 7-0. Appointment of deputy treasurer. It is recommended that the board appoint Bridget Knight as the deputy treasurer. Have a motion. Courtney? Barry? A vote. 7-0. Persons to address the board.
We're there. We just need to adjourn the organization.
What about the late items?
There is no late items for the.
Oh, for this, okay, for this meeting, got it, okay.
It is recommended the board, or that the meeting be adjourned at 5:25.
So moved.
Vote.
Moving on to the Board of Finance, and there's the Board of Finance president.
We call the Orleans Community School Board of Finance to into session now at 5:26. All members present. The floor is open for nominations for president of the Board of Finance.
I nominate Fair.
I'm sure someone would love to serve.
That's second, fair.
Sure appreciate you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion? Motion carries 6-0-1. This time we'll entertain nominations for Secretary of the Board of Finance.
Nominate Jonathan.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Courtney, it's been seconded by Keith. All those in favor of the motion? It carries 6-0-1. This time we'll entertain the investment report. Lisa.
Having the report of investments. This just lists the 4 places we have investments at. Hoosier Hills, of course, Mid-Southern, Springs Valley Bank and Trust Indiana. And you can see that middle column there, that's the amount invested as of the end of December, December 31st. So right now, we have 2 CDs. We have the CD at Hoosier Hills for $1.75 million, and then that matures in October. And then we have the CD at Mid-Southern for $750, and that will mature in April. The interest earned for the year of 2025 is $378,446. Interest rates are going down, so 2026 won't be as good. But most of that, I think I told you back maybe in October or November that we had earned more interest than last year. Well, that was incorrect. We have put more interest into operations than we did last year. But if you look on the other side, it has fallen. And that is partially due to interest rates, but that is also partially due to the fact that the construction fund, where we had a bulk of money, we started to draw that out in 2024, so we weren't earning as much interest. So it has gone down, but it's still the 3rd highest since these have been reported since 2004. So, but that's all I have, unless you guys have any questions.
Any other questions about the investment report? If not, we'll turn to Mr. Ellis for the vote, please.
If you want to get this document I shared with you out, this is the financial, these are the financial indicators. Mr. Starr, would you like a copy? Yeah. I shared I believe I shared a link with you, so you can go on and see these for every school system in the state. If you wouldn't, wanted to do that, but I started doing this a year or 2 ago, just so you can see kind of the historic standpoint, just extrapolating what's in that data and just put it on a document. I think it's an easier way to see it. But you can see the first one there is our ADM history, enrollment history. You can see where we're at, and I also put the transfers in there too. Obviously, we don't know what our spring count will be at the 1st of February yet, but you can see where we were at last year and where we've been both in the fall and spring count for the last several years. Currently, we're at 841, which is down 12 from what we were in the fall. We'll see where we're at in February, but we have, we haven't gone down since the October count. The next section is our fund balances, basically just as at the end of 2024, which is how the DUAB financial indicators, they go back to the end of the previous year. You can see where we were at the end of 2024, and you can always compare with the information that Teresa shares with you on a month-to-month basis, where those balances are. If you look on the second page, you'll see where we switched from the general fund, capital, transportation, bus funds, and then the front page, we switched to education operations and rainy day. So that happened in 2019. You can see the annual deficit surplus there on the second page. You'll notice that we were at a deficit of of, almost $4.5 million. However, that's because the construction bill is being paid during the year. You see that in 2023, we had a surplus of $7.9 million, which includes the construction fund and things. So our revenue really wasn't $22 million during 2023 if you take the construction fund out. So, but it takes everything into account on these numbers. If you go to the website, you can click certain things, take them out, and get a more accurate picture. And the information that Teresa shares with you every month in our fund report gives you a more accurate picture of where we're at each month. These financial indicators give you an overall big, picture. The next one I think is a good one to look at is fund balance as a percent of expenditures, just how much we have in our funds based on what our expenditures are. So looking at that, you can see where we've been at for the last several years. And we talked about how much we should keep in there in cash in case something would happen. If we go bad or something like that, what do we do? If our enrollment goes down and we still have the cash money to pay staff, we get less money from the state, or if the state doesn't give us any increase in funding, but we still have to, try to give raises or try to give something, or just try to maintain our staff. We want to make sure we have a cash balance to help, if something happens. And if you look at the last page there, you can see we go back to 2015 with that percent of fund balances for expenditures. And I always like to throw in there too where other school corporations are at as far as their fund balance percent of expenditures, just as a way for us to kind of how do we compare to others. I think it's good to think about that. And so I just picked several other school corporations, and I feel like we do have a healthy cash balance, but we want to balance that. We can go down a little bit, but at what point when you're going down, you want to level off. So you have to be real careful and not just let it continue to go down, down, down. We want to level off so we feel confident that we can maintain the staff we have and provide everything we need for our students. So, does anybody have questions about any of the items in the financial indicators or anything?
It's tied to it a bit. Traditionally, health insurance has been a factor in financial stability. Are you still pleased with our standing in the Hoosier Heartland Trust, and is it stable?
Yes, I feel like knock on wood, the trust has been really good for us. And I think they've been able to. They've been doing a really good job of controlling costs and putting some things in place, whether that be clinics or whether that be the pharmacy stuff we do with CVS, and they're always looking at going out and getting bids and trying to keep the vendors honest too. And they do a good job of managing that. I'm really impressed. Excuse me, there have been some years where we've taken a small increase. There was one year we took no increase, but most years we take a small increase. Some years you didn't need to take an increase, but if you don't take a small increase, then the next year you're taking a big increase. And so they've done a really good job managing that, and I think they've done well. I feel pretty confident where we're at there.
Well, the reason I'm bringing up that's an area then that we don't have to worry about too much as far as our financial stability here at Orleans.
Right now, I feel pretty good about where we're at. Talking to other school superintendents and seeing what their increases are and what they're dealing with, I feel confident that we're in a good place with Hoosier Heartland.
And maybe to give that a backdrop, if one year we hit a 40% increase one year, if you had that to happen through the trust, it would be painful.
It'd be painful.
And then this balance would come into play.
Yes, it would.
So that's the only reason I bring that up.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, obviously, health insurance is a big expense. What we provide for employees, but I do feel like with Hoosier Heartland, it's been very, very stable.
Thank you.
You've done a really good job of managing it. Any other questions about financial indicators or anything? All right.
There's no further business or discussion within the Board of Finance meeting. Consider our motion for adjournment. We have a motion from Courtney to adjourn. It's been seconded. Okay. All those in favor of adjournment? That motion carries 7-0.
What time is it?
5:36.
5:36.
Progress in regular meeting. You do pledge allegiance again, or?
We can write it down. We're gonna have to do that.
Okay. Call the meeting to order. We called the order at 5:36. Everyone is in attendance. Approval of the minutes in executive sessions. The board did meet in executive session to discuss personnel, the Tennessee Indiana Code at 5 p.m. It is recommended that the minutes of the regular public meeting of December 16th, 2025 be approved with any additions, corrections, and deletions as recommended by the board. A motion? Christie? Second? Heather? Vote? 7-0. Public participation.
Still no nice one. Still no nice one.
Just wanna stay over here for a while.
She's just waiting for us to skip her. She
Yeah,
calls out.
right. Accounts payable vouchers and payroll claims. It is recommended that the board approve the accounts payable vouchers from December 16th through December 31st, 2025, and January 1st through January 13th, 2026. Also to approve payroll claims from December 19th, 2025 through January 2nd, 2026, and to make payroll on January 16th, January 30th, and February 13th. Motion? Christie?
Second. Oh, sorry.
Courtney? Vote? 7-0. To approve contractual bus drivers accounts payable for the above dates. Motion, Brady.
Second.
Second, Heather. Vote. 6-0-1. Financial reports.
There was no transfer for the month of December from education to operations, so you don't need to read that, Todd.
Okay.
I have emailed out the detailed financial statements. Can I have? But, since it's the end of the year, I went ahead and printed out, well, first of all, the summary sheet on top, but then the next two pages, the first page is the education fund, for the whole year of 2025, and then compared to 24, 23, and 22. We did end with a deficiency in the education fund of 127,000, but my projections was, I think it was around 150,000 or 160,000 deficiency, so that's a good thing. I did transfer less to operations this year from education than I had done in 2024, but the operations, once we get to it, you'll see it's going fine. The other page of education, that's giving you more of a detailed look at the receipts and the disbursements. And then over to the right, you can compare 25 to 24 and 23 to see how receipts have gone up or down and how expenses have gone up or down as well. But overall, I mean, I thought it was a pretty good year for, like, back in the spring when I knew what the budgets were going to be, and I think education did okay. The last two pages are the operation fund, and it's the same format as the education. And we ended with 2025 with a 366,800 excess, which is income for the operation fund. And I mean, and that includes transferring. If I had not transferred anything to rainy day, it would have been about 600,000. So I did do a transfer of 300,000 to rainy day, and this also does include the transfer from the construction fund of, I think it was 181,000 that we reimbursed the operations fund for items that could have qualified as construction. And, interest income here in the operations fund was about 25,000 more than last year. But I do expect that to decrease this year. I'm hoping to keep it, I would be hopeful it would be about 200,000, but we will see. So, like I said, operations did really good. Do you guys have any questions on those? The only other thing I have is, this is a summary sheet. This is just a summary sheet of all the funds and all the grants. And it's basically from December 2015 over there on the right, and then the end of the year up to December 2025. Basically what I would look at is the top half of it, and I know it's small, but that subtotals for above funds, because those are your main funds. Used to have the general fund, you can see back in 18, 17, 16. But those are the chunk of funds that really make up the bulk of what we do. And you can see back in 2015, that subtotal was 3.6. Now in 2025, it's 9.6. So we have grown. Rainy Day has gone from 130,000, I think, to 2.1. And then Riverboat has gone from 154,000 to 930,000 over that time. So I like to, at the end of the year, be able to look and kind of compare. So I didn't know if you guys would be interested, but that's available for you as well. And that is all I have, unless you guys have questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Resignation. The following resignation is to be reported in the minutes. Queen Pruitt as elementary librarian effective February 4th, 2026. Select newspapers for legal notices. It is recommended the board select the Progress Examiner as the newspaper for the publications and legal notices. Motion. Christie.
Second.
Jonathan. Vote. 17. Curlin Bus Sales. It is recommended the board approve the quote from Curlin Bus Sales for a Thomas 14 passenger white bus in the amount of $110,944 for the corporation bus replacement plans.
We approved this during the budget process for the bus replacement plan, but we always like to get approval in January before we order it.
Motion.
So moved.
Second. Vote. 17. Are we looking to get rid of any of the old ones or just keep it?
Now, we're, as long as they're not having to spend a lot of money getting fixed like that, we'll just give me another one we can use to.
I agree. Amendment, it is recommended the board amend the item dated 2024-25-265 quote from BSN Sports in the amount of $62,939.85 for the weight room equipment to be paid from the First Mortgage Series Bond 2023. Motion 14. Barry. Vote. 17.
That quote ended up, we got the invoice being just a little bit different, not hugely different. I think Teresa said it was because it was,
Freight or tariff surcharge.
yeah,
So
so they didn't
It's minor.
anticipate. Yeah, we just want to make it match what was actually paid.
Conference approval. It is recommended that the board approve the following conference requests as presented.
So there's two in the weekly packet or the board packet. I move these issue going to FFA conference.
Motion.
So moved.
Jonathan. Second.
Second.
Kevin. Vote. 7-0. Maternity leave. It is recommended the board approve maternity leave for the following individual. Maggie Finley, maternity beginning March 9th, 2026 through the end of the 2025-26 school year.
I'm gonna set a record this year with maternity leave. We got a lot of,
Motion, Barry. Second. Christie. Vote. Second, zero. Payment approval. It is recommended that the board approve payment of $1,212.50 to Orange County Electrical Services LLC for electric work as part of the storm door installation at Orleans Junior Senior High School to be paid from the First Mortgage Bond Series 2023. Motion, Courtney.
Second.
Jonathan. Vote. 7-0. It is recommended the board approve payment of $2,253.05 to Cassidy Electric for replacement of parking lot light bulbs at Orleans Junior Senior High School to be paid from the First Mortgage Bond Series 2023. Motion. Heather.
Second.
Second, Jonathan. Vote. Quote. It is recommended the board approve the quote from SR Mechanical in the amount of $4,200 for replacement of 2 heaters and gas lines in the greenhouse at Orleans Junior Senior High School to be paid from the First Mortgage Bond Series 2023.
motion.
Barry,
Second.
Keith. Vote. It is recommended the board approve the quote from Lee Company in the amount of $5,150 for repair work on the curtain track on the elementary stage curtain at the Orleans Elementary School to be paid from the First Mortgage Bond Series 2023. Okay.
Second.
I'll vote. So, has that already been done or?
No, it's in the process.
Okay, I remember we was talking about that.
The process. For the superintendent report, I shared the corporation transfer report with you. Mr. Star, would you like one? Just the state sends that out based on fall numbers, and so I always try to put this in something that we can understand. The top section is the net transfer comparison between us and schools. That's if you're either gaining more than you're losing. So right now we're at a positive 101. You can see, for example, B&L's is at minus 1,218. So we just kind of see where we're at. We're gaining over 100 more students than we're losing, which is a good thing. Don't want to lose anybody, obviously, but we're doing that. The next section is the number of students who live in Orleans. And they provide that number to you, and the number of the students who live in Orleans that actually attend our school. So incoming transfers, outgoing transfers, and then in the back, I picked a few schools where we're getting our transfers from and where our students transferring to. That isn't everything, but I try to pick the ones, not online schools and those things, but the ones that we would know. So that's just informational for you, so you know that. Have that. Happy to answer questions if you have any. But that's the transfer report. Barry Gardner for Policy Analytics, he was here back in the summer talking about assessed value, what the new legislation is going to do to our assessed value and our property taxes and everything. And he's coming back in February. He's got some more detailed information to share with us. I think it'll help us with our planning going forward, but wanted you guys to hear from him. He'll be here in public session. So if anybody from the public wants to come and listen to what we feel like from their analysis, what the legislation is going to do to the school as far as how much money we're getting and what it's going to do to tax rates and those kind of things, he'll be sharing that with us at the February meeting. So also, I sent with you the information about the CDLs. I put that in the board packet. I did not make more copies of that tonight. Though the numbers I shared with you are estimates. The one estimate, I'm not the liability insurance. Brett's looking for that information for me to try to get an estimate for that. I may be way off my estimate for liability insurance. I just don't know. I just put a number in there based on what Lost River had mentioned to us, but that it could be 3, 4, 5 times. I don't know. basically, what, on all that, what I shared with you, does anybody have thoughts on that? Is this something we feel like, we want to continue to pursue? I'm guessing our amount we're going to have to pay be anywhere between, $35,000, $40,000, $45,000 per school corporation to get this going. The most number of students we could have combining all three schools is 16. There's a max of how many kids can be in the seats. And that would be doing program in the morning, program in the afternoon. Of that 16, we'd have access to our fair share. Some years, based on, interest, we may be able to get 7 or 8 kids in there. Some years we may just be able to get 4 or 5 because we want to try to split up equally. If there were open seats, we'd offer them to other school corporations, kind of like Lost River does to us. We may see if the Career Center wants to, we don't have enough kids this year. Do you want to, put 3 or 4 kids in or whatever it may be, as a possibility. But obviously that's a lot of money for servicing a small amount of kids. The flip side of that, we'd have several kids going out with a highly desirable certification that they could use to help them get a job, and a well-paying job. That's nothing to sneeze at either. That's considerable. Having that is something I think we want to consider. I have nothing for you to vote on tonight, but basically I just want to get your feel and get some feedback. Is this something we feel like we want to pursue and go forward with? And we bring you back something, yes, to vote on, that we want to pursue this. Mitchell, I do know they met last night and they are interested in pursuing it and going forward. Shoals met last Thursday, and the answer I got from them was they're interested in continuing having discussions. I'm not confident one way or the other that they're going to be in it and want to do this. If we have to pay half instead of a third, that's more. That's a lot more. At that point, do we really want? Is it really worth it when we can get 3 or 4 kids in Lost River every year now? And some years we may get shut out of Lost River.
What do we pay for the
Yeah.
kids going to Lost River?
We have 4 kids that are going there this year. It was about 13,200, 13,400. Not sure it was 13,000 something for those 4 kids.
So it's about $3,500 a kid.
Right.
Basically.
What's the cost?
The total cost of it all, my estimate's about
About
98 to 100,000. My estimate, if we go 3 ways, it'll be between 35 and 40. And that liability insurance, if it comes in more, it may be more. But on the flip side, if the instructor doesn't take family insurance, it's a big savings. If they take a single insurance or if they take no insurance, it's a big savings too. So,
So is that, then that's an annual cost or?
Yes.
It's
ongoing cost.
ongoing.
Down at the bottom of that information you provided, was there some reimbursement?
Yes, we would get $2,136 reimbursement. So if let's say we had 4 kids in it, we get about, a little over $8,000 reimbursement through CTE. We would get that. And there's a certification reimbursement, $100 per student, not much. And we even talked about, if the instructor wanted to, was interested, and we can figure out a way to do it, would we provide adult CDL classes in the summer? Can we pick up a little money? Now, there's no guarantee we would be able to do that, or would we have people interested? But, there's definitely something we want to explore.
If we had to go in halves, wouldn't it be better just to do it ourselves and just offer it to us only?
I don't know that we would ever have 16 kids. So I would say,
So the cost probably wouldn't be that much of it.
well, we would probably, if we were going to do it ourselves, we would do a part-time thing. Probably, and I would say it would be less than that. I don't know what it would be. Some of those costs, like your salary, your turf, your FICA will be less, obviously. Your liability insurance will probably be the same. Fuel and maintenance, probably a little bit less because you're not using the truck quite as much. Curriculum may be a one-time fee. I don't know if there's an ongoing cost for curriculum. So it would be less, yeah, if we did it. And I think if we would struggle to get 8, but we could, we could try to fill the other seats. Yeah.
Do you have any, along your thoughts, do you have any feel for other school corporations that might be looking for an opportunity to send a couple, 3?
I know North Lawrence said they would be definitely interested in sending kids. Career Center.
Those are the ones I was thinking.
Yeah, she said she would definitely be interested in sending kids in for CDL. if we would give them some spots. I even suggested, let's go 4 ways
Mhm.
instead of 3.
Yeah,
But Mitchell is not necessarily as keen on doing 4 ways. And they have some issues with North Lawrence and their history there and things.
I like your thought in that we would be our own boss. And we would copyright the guidelines.
Right. I mean, if we were gonna do it ourselves, I'd almost want to just talk to Lost River and say, hey, could you permanently guarantee us 3 seats? And we will not look to do it ourselves. That way you can rely on our income every year. And if you have extra seats, or we don't have people interested, we could go back and forth. So if they would guarantee us 3 seats every year, I mean, it might be more beneficial, because we're not gonna be able to have 8 kids every year. I don't think. Maybe we would some years, but I think, we might be able to get 5 every year. We might be able to say, we'll definitely have 5 every year. And if I had confidence that Shoals was gonna be on board, it's a different story, but I don't have that confidence. In fact, she said they have an instructor that's interested, one of their bus drivers, but only wants to work half-time, so she suggested that they do it, maybe possibly just do half-time for the first year. And I'm thinking, and I just didn't have much confidence that they want to do it. My thinking is they'll do it by themselves. Mitchell might do it by themselves, and so if Mitchell goes by themselves, they may sell us a couple of seats too. And then that's a better route for us. But I am leery about going half, or I'm leery about doing it on our own financially. I feel much better. I'm leery about doing it 3 ways, but I feel much better about us sharing the cost of 3 school districts. I have real reservations about going half and how much that'll cost. And honestly, just, there's always it is a high value certification, and it's great to offer that to our kids. However, is that our biggest need? There's an argument that if we shared an instructor that taught something that's more valuable, well, I won't say more valuable, something that's going to impact more students, would that be a better return on our investment? If we were split, I don't know what it would be, but a high level math teacher, social studies teacher, where you could say, all right, now we have 40 kids a year. That's something to think about too.
so is the issue with Lost River that we just
don't
get the end of it?
Yes.
So we might get 0, or we
Yes.
might get,
we might get
just,
4.
right,
It's based on if they have
how
enough.
full they are.
But if they can guarantee us, and I do know from talking to from April Kids, talk to their director, and they're worried about us backing out because they depend on our money. And I get that to help offset the cost for their instructor, because they pay tuition. So it may be worth having a conversation with them about saying, hey, can you guarantee us 3 seats? And if we only have 2 kids interested, well, obviously, or if we have,
Or if they had 5
had
spots,
extra,
they could, yeah.
we get 5. That might be the more prudent step forward based on Shoals, not because that was the conversation we had as superintendents. Is we want to come away from our January meeting knowing, do we have, yes, thumbs up, thumbs down on CDL. This is the information we have. Do you guys want us to take the next step and go forward? Mitchell, absolutely, thumbs up. Shoals, I don't know. She could not give me one definite answer other than further discussions. Well, at some point we can't keep having further discussions. We have to decide. So if she would have told me thumbs up, I'd have come in and put to you guys, let's do it. And that's my, but I'm him all now just because I'm concerned that we're going to say yes and yes, and they're not going to be on board, and we'll be stuck holding the bag, kind of thing. So all that being said, I'll let you guys talk.
So the estimated 35,000, 40,000, that's not without the reimbursement, correct?
Yeah, I did not, that's without the reimbursement.
So if we did latch on to 5 kids pretty regularly, we're talking over 10 grand reimbursement.
Correct. As things stand right now, unless the state changes the reimbursement, which I don't see them changing too much.
And is this pay for the test, or is that separate?
We normally pay for the test We only pay for the driving test, one attempt. And then if they don't get it, we don't pay for it a second time, is that correct?
It's not too bad, but
No, yeah.
I think it used to be what, over Mitchell, a couple $100.
Yeah, I
maybe,
think
or
it's
something
about-
like that.
We normally pay for the kids to take one test, and if they flunk it,
Right. then
it's
they-
on them. Yeah, it's on them. And it's usually not a big expense.
I didn't know if that was built into the cost.
It's not built the cost.
It's not. Okay. I mean, I'm all for that. I will say if we had our own, I do like the idea where we could make some money back on it in the summer, offering instead of outside adults or whatever. But I think the easiest route would probably go through them. It does work out a three-way. I'm kind of with you on the, if it's just two of us, I don't know if it'll be feasible, you know?
Financially, at more is we just do
Yeah.
this. If Shoals were to say, yes, we definitely want to do it, we're committed 100%, do we feel better about it?
Mhm.
Or somebody else. I don't really
Somebody
care if
else,
it
yeah.
shows.
Right,
you know,
somebody
I mean,
else.
I mean, I understand the concept of, possibly looking at a different program. But I mean, when you look at the direct impact it would have on those 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 kids, it's hard pressed to come up with something else that has that transfer from school to work. Boom.
Very good point. Very good point.
Anything else, like, yeah, I mean, there's no doubt our kids can use something more on the math side, but it's still up to them once they continue to build on that down the road. And this is something that puts them out and give them a really nice life.
There's no question, it's a difference maker on getting, where it's construction or whatever.
Yeah.
If you come in and you show you have a CDL and the next person doesn't, you're gonna be one higher. There's no
Look at
question.
Duke or REMC.
Well, right, yeah,
I mean, you're top, you go straight to the front of the
Yeah,
line with a CDL.
Yeah.
I mean, it just opens up a lot of opportunities for those people. And somebody's gonna have to keep at some point.
Sometime.
About 10 more years.
But we're not gonna do bus certifications. We have to do that on our own. They have to see check.
That's next meeting, yeah.
So do we feel okay, if Shoals says yes, we're definitely in? We bring something back for you to vote on? Or,
I think we definitely need to come back to it. I mean, I think that, and look at.
Continue to pursue it.
Yeah.
Yes.
okay. So I'll try to pin Shoals down on a definite yes. And then we can come up with an MOU of how this would look, how we would do that. And then have something for you guys to vote on it. Okay. We do need a representative from our board to serve on this Cosmo Strategic Planning. If anybody would want to volunteer, there are a few meetings we attended the lab. If anybody feels like led to do that or feels they have the time to do that.
Do we know when those meetings?
I don't have the exact dates on those yet. No, I don't have that with me now. I'm sorry. Would you like me to share that with you and decide that?
I would be interested.
Okay.
But again, the time is going to be exceptionally important for me.
Well, I will, I'll get the times and I'll send those to you tomorrow. And if you tell me that's not gonna work for me, then I'll send a message to the group and see if somebody else is interested. Does that seem okay? Okay, perfect. Also, we've talked about wanting to do some strategic planning of our own, just for our own school corporation. So I've sent surveys out to our staff, sent surveys out to parents, sent a survey, I coordinated a suggestion to send the surveys out to our last 2 graduating classes. So we put something out, we emailed out, Kate emailed out to those last 2 classes. And then we'll have some focus group with staff members as well that have volunteered to be part of that. Because I wanted to bring some data to you guys that you guys can kind of digest and see as we go through the process. That being said, can we schedule something for the week of February 23rd? Was when I was kind of looking at. And then what I would like to do is a special board meeting to approve a contract with a contract with the internet provider, depending on bids. It could be RMC, it could be somebody else. But anyway, currently it's with RMC that week as well. So maybe the 24th 25th or 26th that week. I don't know if that would work for you. Those. No?
24th, I have library board meeting at 5,
Okay.
and be done probably by 6.
That week that work for you?
I'm traveling that week.
Okay. How about the next week, the first week of March? That work for everybody? Now, if I have to have a special board meeting to get, well, we don't have to do that. The March will be fine. Is there a day that week that would work best for anybody? You want to do Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesdays,
Tuesday?
kind of
So,
normal.
okay, 3/3/26. We'll do a special board meeting followed by a work session. And we'll do an executive session for a special board meeting. And most likely the only item on the agenda will be approving of our managed services for internet provider. And then we'll go to work session after that.
What time?
Tell me. You want to do 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
Does that work?
Okay. Keep it on par with
Okay.
what we do.
All right, we'll do that then. Thank you. All right, the board reelection, just as an informational thing, Jonathan, your term is up at the end of this year. So is Todd's, and so is Keith. I'm still looking over here for you, Todd. So is Keith. Jonathan and Keith are termed out, so they cannot run for reelection. They could be appointed, if possibility, but they cannot run. Todd, you can choose to run or not to run, so obviously, but you are able to run if you choose to. So those elections will be in November, and I'm not 100% sure the dates of when you have to file, but we can find that information out. If you know of anybody that's interested in running, those are the seats that will be open. And I'll be on the ballot in November. A couple other things. The March
Well, you said that's at large and Orleans.
at large is Jonathan's, and Keith is the Orleans Township, and Todd, you're Northeast Township. Yeah. The March board meeting, February will be the third Tuesday, but March, the third Tuesday is over spring break. So my question is, I'm not going over spring break. We can host it, have it then, or we can move it up as well. I mean, completely your choice. I don't know if anybody's traveling the week, the third week of March. We just plan to go out of town on spring break. We may not have principal reports. I don't know what our principals are doing. But with streaming, anybody could log in wherever they're at and view the meeting. But we could do it March 10th if you wanted to, or we could move it up to the 17th if you'd rather do that, or keep it the 17th. I mean, if you'd rather just keep it where it's at.
I'll be there anyway.
So you just want to keep it the 17th?
Okay.
Okay, we'll just do that.
St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, good. We'll all agree that night. All right, we'll do that. And then I just wanted to thank Todd. Todd, we took our semi down, and Todd took the semi down for us, the trailer, and so we could load it up with the furniture we took out of the elementary school. Whenever they come and installed it, and he brought it back up, and then he moved our softball shed for us too. So appreciate him doing that for us. And, hopefully we'll have to call 2 more times to do that stuff. On the topic of elementary school furniture, I did send that out to the school superintendents. We got no takers. Nobody wanted that. We had one school corporation was mildly interested, but they wanted something that was more geared towards younger kids, smaller kids. What we had was in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade classrooms. So most likely we'll try to recycle or have to throw that what we have away, because I don't know what else to do with it. I mean, you can't just keep it forever and store it and then throw it away in 5 years. And so we'll probably offer it to any employee, and Courtney suggests maybe offer it to any employee that wants something, with the caveat it doesn't come back in the building. It goes home if you want it. I can't imagine too many people are going to want it. Maybe somebody wants a desk for a grandchild or child or something. And then I'll talk to Greg about getting with the recycle place to see if they have interest. If not, we'll probably have to get a dumpster and throw it away and do that. So it's served us well. It was good furniture we had for a good long time. So we definitely got our money for it out of that.
From the teacher side, we do appreciate it very, very much.
Good.
Kids have enjoyed having seats that are much more appropriate for them. We had a couple that were in dire need of replacement, so they have been very appreciative.
And they're nice, they're nice pieces too. They're nice pieces. So, and we'll look to, the next phase of that is this summer with second and third grade. So we'll look at that, get that going, and bring something for you guys to look at before schools go. Our enrollment, currently the elementary schools are 479, pre-K is 17, not including that number. The high school is 362 for a total of 841, with 24% of that being transfer students. So that's where we're at currently with enrollment. You have any questions about all that? I know it's a lot. We went over there. Any questions? If not, I don't think the principals have anything formal tonight. I don't have anything want to mention or say, or just open the floor for questions. Any questions for them? I will mention that at the high school, we had a roof drain get clogged up when it was raining. It was a pop bottle. I don't know how pop bottle got on the roof, but it was a pop bottle on the roof. I don't know if it blew up there, but it caused some water to get into some of our ductwork. And some mechanicals working on getting that replaced. And we had a big leak in the library that in fact our custodians were gone that day. So Mr. Ratcliffe and Brian Harris from the elementary came and we got that cleaned up. So looking at options, Greg checks those drains regularly, but it's one of those things you'd be fine one day, the next day it's clogged up and you just don't know. So we're looking at options, what we can do. Maybe we need to put a bigger drain up there to take care of that, help with that. A different kind of grate over the top of it that's a little bit better. So we're looking at some different options there. Hopefully keep that from happening again in the future. But we did deal with that last Friday and that was a lot of fun. So, all right. You guys have any questions for the principals? We can move on, Todd. It's a late item.
Late item. It is recommended that the board approve the quote from Corson
Yes.
in the amount of $1,085.90 for installation of the dual push buttons for the door access control in the office for Orleans Elementary School to be paid from the First Mortgage Bond Series 2023.
This would allow both secretaries to be able to open the door from the desk without having to get up and move around.
Motion. Second.
I'll second.
Evan. Vote. 7-0. Payment approval. It is recommended the board approve payment to HFI for work performed in the kitchen at the Orleans Elementary School and Orleans Junior High School, as listed below, to be paid on the First Mortgage Bond Series 2023. Orleans Elementary School, $1,600 for the walk-in cooler repair. Orleans High School, Junior and Senior High School, $775 to be replaced warming cabinet door gaskets, $980 to replace splash curtains on the dish machine.
So
Vote. 7-0. Adjournment is recommended that the meeting be adjourned at 6:15 p.m. For the motion. Okay.
second.
Jonathan. Vote. 7-0.
Roll call.